Hello book lovers, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to discuss book 2 of the Hunger Games, that is Catching Fire. In my review for the Hunger Games, I said I've forgotten many small details of the book. But when I started rereading this book, The Catching Fire, it smacked me on the face because I forgot huge chunk of the book, and that made rereading Catching Fire just amazing. There is going to be spoilers on this review, and if you haven't read the books or watched the movie, first of all, what are you doing? Go read the book or watch the movie and come back to rant with me later, cry with me later, and fangirl over this book. I'm going to review this book by the parts of the book. And so let's talk about part 1. I knew President Snow made Katniss' life hell in this book. But I could not recall just how bad it was. His visit at her house, his warning just before the victory tours, and how she failed even after announcing her marriage with Peeta. And how the whole thing, her life, District 12, everything flipped. The shift was so brutal. Before they had much more freedom and that little rebellion in a form of black market under the lenient head peacekeeper. And now there is a new head peacekeeper who is brutal, violent. There is a punishment, starvation, all because Katniss couldn't convince President Snow that she didn't want the rebellion, she didn't want the uprising. She didn't meant to do that with her act of with berries. Her life crumbles, and for the first time, she wants to side with Gale, to run away with everyone she loved and cared about. And when she came up with that plan with to Gale and they had a talk for the first time, Gale didn't want to let it go. This chance of having uprising, this chance of changing the world they were living in. And their arguments led to Katniss kind of saying that she might leave anyone behind if it meant saving Prim and her mother. Ouch. I who kept saying that I am Team Katniss in the first book, now this, her reaction, the way she was behaving, and the way her mind is working, it is making me see that President Snow was kind of right. She is self-preserving and self-absorbed. and that doesn't make me hate her, but it sure makes me rethink about how much I like her. But at the same time, it makes her character flawed, very realistic, and the situation she is living in with, it doesn't feel entirely wrong either. It took Gale being whipped to finally change her mind. It brings kind of epiphany to her that she was being selfish. And it also makes her make a decision between Gale and Peeta. And she is leaning towards Gale. But for the first time, now she is thinking about rebellion. And like all the parts in the book 1 and even in this book, this too ended with a twist, with announcement of the Quell. Now the part 2, the Quell announcement was like a nightmare, not just for Katniss, but I think for all the victors, because they were kind of living a life of freedom, and now that was snatched from them and they were dumped back into the arena. The rage, the helplessness, it was all palpable. And President Snow was playing really, really dangerous game. But Peeta and Katniss interview, announcement Peeta made about Katniss being pregnant was the most iconic stunt. I mean, if President Snow was afraid of uprising in districts, this announcement brought the uprising knocking at his door. And as for the Katniss, I can't help but feel bad for her, because in the first book, love was dumped on her, and now in the second book, baby was added to the picture. It is not really fair. She isn't even sure about feelings and her emotions, and now there is a baby to think, to act. But another thing I didn't like about Katniss in this book is how quickly she switched from Gale to Peeta. I mean, now that she knows that she is back in the games, and she is very sure that Snow is not going to let her leave, she is not coming back alive, she is back to favoring Peeta because he is there with her, and he, like her, he is going to die, or if she will die trying to save him. But whatever the moment she have remained, she would like to spend with him. And it kind of made President Snow's words believable, that she is self-preserving. I mean, she's not thinking about Gale. She's not thinking about how her act, how she being back with Peeta going to make him feel. She's not thinking about anyone, how either of the boys are feeling. She's just thinking that whatever the little life she have left, she would like to live with not being alone. And Peeta is there for that. So she will be with him. Really. It was like seeing a ping pong game. Switching Gale, Peeta. I mean, really? Girl, they are guys and they really love you. So just make up your mind. But anyways, you can see why I hate love triangle. So, the end of the part 2, just before going into the games, what happened to Sina was most tragic, because he was the one person I really liked in this book, in this entire series. Now the part 3, the games were just amazing. The danger, the stakes were rising so high, and it made the story very thrilling, action-packed. As for the alliance, I think I was with Katniss. It felt weird seeing them all trying to save Peeta. I mean, why? I also was thinking like Katniss, that what kind of deal Haymitch made with all the victors who were ready to sacrifice their life to save Peeta. Alliance added the tension to the story, and I was curious to see who Katniss is going to trust, who is going to play their own part, who is going to break the alliance first. What was their plan? And it all came together near the climax with Bitty's scheme, his plan to kill Enoberia and Brutus. And the execution of that plan was just brilliant. And it all happened so suddenly. And one moment, Katniss was going along with the plan. She was separated from Peeta. Then suddenly she is betrayed and hurt, and she's trying to get back to Peeta. And then she figures out what Bitty's actual plan was. And she connects that dot with Haymitch's last advice before she entered the game. And that arrow she let loose after that conclusion was game changer. It ended the game. What happened after the climax was just heartbreaking. Katniss waking up, finding herself in District 13, and her reaction at what just happened. She was being saved. Haymitch betraying her, backing from their deal, and her emotional breakdown over Peeta's capture. It all felt so raw and realistic, and for the first time in this book, I felt that she was just a girl, a 17-year-old girl who didn't ask to be included in this war, who didn't want any of this. And that end of the part 2 with what happened to District 12. It was so tragic and a perfect setup for book 3 Mockingjay. So overall, Catching Fire was slower than The Hunger Games, but there were lots of twists, lots of politics. I may not love triangle. In fact, I kind of hate it. But the political intrigue, complexity of the characters and their situation, the sheer brutality of the world and author's storytelling, it made rereading Catching Fire just fabulous. So that's it. Let me know in the comments if you were in Katniss' place in a Quell games, which victor you would be in alliance with. Who would it be? If you like this video, please like, comment, hit that bell button so you don't miss out on the next bookish content. See ya!